Hi, welcome to Cherry Desserts Challenge. What cherry dessert would you make if you had 2 pounds of Bing Sweet Cherries? I challenge anyone who could bake a delicious cherry dessert. Our first challenge, my first challenge, little cherry hand pies. The ingredients you need is some sweet bean cherries that are pitted, sweetener, cornstarch, almond extract, and lemon juice. And also, you'll need 1 roll of refrigerated pie crust that is defrosted and has been out for 15 minutes before you get started. And please preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit before you start because it takes a while for it to heat up. Okay, here we have our bowl of pitted cherries. That took me a while to do. And then I have my pie crust from the box, and there's 2 rolls in there. And it took a long time to pit those cherries. And I forgot I had them in the fridge, and then they're still really good. I had one, definitely really great. So, what kind of stuff could you make with cherries? Okay, let's get started. You'll need a small bowl so you can mix together the sweetener. Oh, I need to buy some more. Look how empty my container is. You need 1/3 cup of that. I take my spoon and I scoop it into my cup because I don't like to dip my measuring cups into my things that I'm scooping out, like my sweetener. And I use Splenda because I buy the 2-pound bag at Walmart. Yes, I love Walmart. That's like my go-to store. Especially living down here in California, it's your go-to store. But I bought the cherries at my grocery store, which is Stater Brothers, which is down the road from where I live. So you take your spoon and you kind of level it out from the cup, and then you just pour it in your bowl, like so. Yep, I keep moving the camera. I pretend like it's you moving. I just move you around. Okay, the next thing we need is cornstarch, and you need 2 tablespoons of that. I buy the brand from Walmart. So you take your tablespoon, and I just kind of dip it in there and kind of shake it off. And it is, whoop, there it goes into the bowl. I'm going to get one more, and whoop, there it goes in the bowl. Yeah, I'm going to use that tablespoon again for the lemon juice, so later on I'll rinse that off. And you take your spoon and just stir it up. I have a variety of these little metal bowls that I got from my grandmother. She loved to give me odds and ends from her kitchen. See, there I go to go wash my tablespoon so I can pour my lemon juice into it. What am I doing? Oh, there we go. So we're going to get our lemon juice. You got to make sure you shake up the bottle. It's almost empty, so I have a hard time. Yep, there I go. Shake it up. See, I buy the real lemon juice. You can also use a regular lemon if you want, if you have those on hand. I just like to use the bottle. It's just a little easier. And then I just pour it into my measuring cup, my tablespoon. And there we go. You only need 1 tablespoon. The next thing we need is almond extract, which you always seem to use when you have cherries, because my grandmother always told me you always use almond extract in anything you make in cherry, especially when she makes her cherry pie. And there we go. Tap, tap. And yep. There we go. Yeah, there I go. I put everything away. Magically, it disappeared. Then you just stir it all the lemon juice and the almond extracts together. And the almond extract has a real strong smell to it, so you can really smell it. But there's nothing wrong with that. You're supposed to do that. And after you stir it, then you just whoop, pour in the sweetener and cornstarch. Tap, tap, tap. And you just mix it all in with the cherries. Because we're going to be using these cherries with the second challenge that I have set up on here. There we go. Stir, stir. Looks kind of freaky looking, but it all kind of melts together, which is really, really cool. I'm a little messy. There we go. So, yep. Then we're going to cut to like, it's all done. See, magically, it's all stirred. Yep, I wipe my counter off a little bit because we're going to be getting the pie crust out to roll it out. And there's my biscuit cutter. It's actually a biscuit cutter that my mom sent me. It's antique. It's been, I guess you can say, handed down through all the grandmothers and then my mom and then me. And the little thing in the middle comes out because you can put it in there and use it for a donut cutter also. And it's a little small. I don't have anything bigger. You're supposed to use a 3.5-inch cutter. That one there I measured is like 3 inches. And then there's your pan. You want to put parchment paper down. You just cut it on the ends till it fits inside the pan. And it keeps your baking pan from getting all nasty from all the stickiness. And then we open up our box of pie crust. Seems like I'm having a hard time opening it. Oh, I got it out. There we go. We'll save that for the pie later. Oh, I gotta get my scissors to snip the end off. There we go. You know what I forgot? The flour. You have to lightly flour the countertop so it doesn't stick to your countertop. And then I put a little pile off to the side so I can use it to put on the rolling pin to roll it out so it doesn't stick all to the rolling pin. You actually will notice that when I roll it out, it sticks to the rolling pin. Then you just kind of push the flour around a little bit and then you try to unpeel it without it breaking. But this one, whoops, it did break. But when pie crust does that, you just take it and you patch it together and it goes right back together again. So you can see me doing that. Yeah, and then I take the rolling pin, and then when you roll it with the rolling pin, it really makes it stick together. You can't even tell that there's a break in it. Okay, so I'm patching it up still. There I go. And nope, don't need the cutter yet. Okay, see, I put some flour on the rolling pin, and then I just kind of roll it out to make it stick together more, so you can't even tell that it was apart. See? All set. Now we're going to take our cutter, our little biscuit cutter. Yes, it's only 3 inches, so we're going to get quite a few little rounds on there. Yeah. Yeah, I always gotta wipe my hands. Okay, let's see. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Yeah. Just cut them away. I was supposed to make 8 of them, but I ended up making more because they're small, which is okay because you never know how many you're going to need. And there we go. I think there's 8 on there. 2, 4, 6. Yeah, and it just, watch how it just kind of comes off and the little rounds still stay there. There we go. And we're going to use up that crust for, since they're so small, we're probably going to end up making more, which is okay. I just kind of move them out of the way so we can start rolling one. And I think the one I start with, it's kind of thin and I wasn't sure about using it. So I was like, nope, not this one. We'll try again. The flour comes in handy. So yeah, we'll save you for later. So I take another round and I roll that. See how it sticks to the rolling pin? And you just kind of roll it off. See, there we go. And see, there we go. And you want to take it and see, I wasn't too sure about it, but then I ended up being okay. And then you take, oh, I'm gonna do a little bit more. Okay. And then you put it on your baking sheet on top of your parchment paper. And I continue to roll them all out. Whoop, look, they're all done. They're all rolled out. They're all different kind of shapes. Yeah, I don't make these too often. I made them one time before and I had the same problem. So I guess I need to make them more often in order to get them the way that the cookbook says. But anyway, I am taking a teaspoon of the cherries because the little rounds are a little on the small side. So I just put it on the one side of the pie dough. And the cherries are kind of big, so it didn't take that many to fill up the one side. And there we are. Oh, look, magically they're all done. Now let's try to fold them. So here, this one. Tried really, it was a little tricky because the cherries were kind of on the big side, and I didn't need to cut any slits in them because the cherry kind of like wanted to poke out, so I didn't have to do that part. You just slowly try to put them together, and it just sticks together by itself. It's pretty cool. See, there it is. There's the one. And whoop, they're all done. Can you imagine that? And you're supposed to use a fork to make the little marks on the around the edge, but I just used my knife and then it worked out fine. It still had the little marks on there. And then you put them in the oven. And then while they're in the oven, I made that big one that's right there, and it will magically disappear in a moment. And it's because I put it in, yeah, I see it's right there still, because I'll put it in the oven to bake with the other little pies. So just watch. It'll, see? It's gone. It's in the oven baking with the other pies. Okay, our second challenge that I have for myself is to do a small cherry pie. And what you'll need is 1 roll of refrigerated pie crust, remaining cherry filling, and a small pie plate. We have so much filling left over, I didn't know what to do with it all. So I challenged myself to do a pie, which I don't do that often. I only make a pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving, and that's the only time I ever really make a pie. So let's try this out. Oh, yep, gotta put the flour out. Hope that's where I went to. Yep, I went over and got the flour behind me. Don't want the pie crust sticking to the counter. It's hard to get it off. Makes a mess. Then you unroll the pie crust since it's really warmed up. It didn't break like the last one. Yay! Then I take some flour and put it on the rolling pin and I roll it out so it's bigger than my pie plate over there. Because there's a reason why. Because when you cut the excess of the pie crust around it, I'm going to use it to, I call it lace on top, but I'm not sure what the correct words are for that. So, yeah, you'll see when I do it. I just keep rolling and rolling and rolling. And I take my rolling pin and I roll up the edges of the pie dough, and I roll on the other side so that I can put it in the pie plate because I'm not very good at picking it up and moving it over. So I roll it around the rolling pin, which makes it so much easier to put on in the pie plate. You just put the one side down, the other side down, and there you have it. Woohoo! And then you just kind of mold the pie dough into the pie plate. And since it's so much bigger than the pie plate, it doesn't break when you put it in there. Then you take your trusty old knife and cut off the excess. You think you want to leave like an inch, I think they say, hanging over the edge. I'm not sure, but I think it's an inch hanging off the side. And you go all the way around the pipe, all the way around, and you cut it all off. Just be careful you don't cut yourself. There we go, all the way around. Because we're going to take the dough we cut off and, oh, okay, now we're going to roll up the edges to kind of flute. They call it a flute, but I'm not too good at that yet because like I said, I don't make pies a lot. So you just kind of flute it up and so that it looks pretty. And you go all the way around. And it's magically done. Then we have our cherry filling that we made earlier in the video. And you just pour it in there and you spread it around to cover the whole bottom of the crust that's in the pie plate. Get all the juiciness out of the bowl. And you just spread it around. I'm using the Bing Sweet Cherries that I got at the grocery store. You just spread it around and it's all done. And then you take the dough that you cut off and you work it together, kind of mold it all together so it's kind of seamless and all works as one. There we go. And then you put the flour over and you just roll it out. There we go. Yep, put that back in there. I'm gonna put more flour on. And then just roll it all out. And then we're going to cut it into strips so we can lay on top of the cherries. There we go. And slowly just cut off the rounded part. And then you just cut it into strips. Oh, And there we have it. They're all done. Then you slowly pick them up and you just lay it over the top. I know you're supposed to weave them in and out of each other. I guess it's like a basket, but I'm not good at that. So I just laid them down straight going one way, and then I do the other way, the opposite direction on top of that. Oh, there we go. Gotta find the smaller pieces go on top. Yeah, you can tell I don't make cherry pies that often. See, then I lay it to go in the other direction. Then I have the excess, all the excess little bits and pieces of the dough. Um, I put in the middle, and it kind of came out looked like a little flower. Yeah, so I just keep adding and taking out the bits and pieces on the ends. And it's not a perfect pie, but it's my version of a cherry pie. Because I was like, what do I do with the rest of the pies? I mean, with the pies, rest of the cherries. I mean, so I just keep going and let's take that one off and move it over and take this one and put it on the end. It has a little curved piece to it. You just kind of push it in with the rest of the dough around the edges so they all kind of stick together. So when they bake into one another. There we go. And then I take these ones and put them in the middle. And there we go. And then they're all kind of all stuck together. And it's magically all done. There we go. There's the pie. And then here's the pie, all baked, looking delicious. See the little flower in the middle? You bake it for 30 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what I did. It came out looking pretty good. And there's our little berry hand pies. They're all different sizes. Yeah, I baked them for 20 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, they're all different sizes and shapes and things, but that's that big one that I did the last. Use up the dough. And here they are. They're all different sizes, which is fine. They're almost to look like this one, but they ended up not looking like that, which is fine. Then here's the pie, and looking really good. I did try everything, and everything came out tasting delicious. I want to thank everybody for watching and subscribe for more videos. Have a good night.